Good, Gare? Welcome back to the Iceland Sports Fields here in Mississauga for continuing coverage of the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Provincial Championships with the B final, this featuring the Six Nations Stallions and the Toronto Blue Jays. Hello again, Lance Wynn alongside my partner Mark Szyskowski. Glad to have you with us again one more time, but no easy task just to get here, Mark. A bit of a challenge for both these two teams.
No, some great semifinal matchups in the B with the Blue Jays. I wouldn't even call it an upset, but they were the lower seed against the United Lacrosse Club. And, you know, it was such a close game. It ended up being 9-7 with a late goal by the Blue Jays. And the Stallions over the Burlington Lakers, who had a battle. They've had to fight from behind as well, too. But, you know, no surprise, Six Nations got a lot of firepower and eventually took the lead and pulled away, and here they are.
So bear with us as we get settled here into this B final, and possession to the Blue Jays. They'll work it up left side, looking to duck in, and yes, he did, was Nolan Ruddy. And the big man opens the scoring with his first of the game, 1-0 Blue Jays.
Oh, and there's that big size we talked about in the previous game, how beneficial that can be, and Nolan Ruddy fits that bill as he got a step on his defender and found himself with lots of real estate in front of the net and pops it in. Nice goal by Nolan to give the Blue Jays an early lead here.
And they'll need that. A lot of firepower on this Six Nations Stallions squad, as they've got some guys that specialize in filling the back of the net. So going to be important for the Blue Jays, again, as they regain possession, to try and capitalize every time. And that one goes off the side of the net.
Oh, a nice fast break off the face-off and drives it down the lane and finds the open man and took a shot. Went out of bounds, but they regained possession and they get another shot here at it.
We'll find out who's in goal for the Stallions.
I got Josh Johnson there, number 23, one of the top goalies here in men's field lacrosse. We're gonna see some. He'll be a guy, if they get down below, he'll probably steal a couple of saves and give their team a bit of a kickstart to get back into the game. Nolan Ruddy driving down again.
Ruddy certainly making his presence felt early on, as that one wide of the mark. Possession will stay right here. Good zip pass, but that gets picked off, and great job by the Stallions now, and they're going to try to move it up to midfield. They get it up into the offensive end, cutting in Lane Smith. Oh, Lane Smith, and I tell you, if you haven't seen him, man, oh man, he can give it to you straight, and he ties this game 1-1 with his first of the game.
Oh, what a play. You got Dan Miller, drives the ball, gets the ball down, dishes off to, looks like Marcus Dockstader there, number 20.
They get it up into the offensive end, cutting in Lane Smith. Oh, Lane Smith, and I tell you, if you haven't seen him, man, oh man, he can.
I'll give it to him because he knows where the back of the net is, and he just makes it look so easy. Such soft hands.
And he comes up a bit gimpy. It seems like Lane Smith's okay when he has the ball. When he doesn't have the ball, he's not feeling all that great. As you can see that zip there, the ill-advised pass, and back come the Blue Jays.
Well, Lane Smith looks like he's playing midi. I would have thought he'd be
attack.
Attack. Using some of his veteran
Agreed.
side to play attack here. But as you see, they got the short bench, and I don't know, Miller and Lane Smith drew the short straw on that. But maybe they'll rotate around throughout the game.
I don't know what short bench you're talking about. I don't see a bench, Mark. I'm looking. I see two guys standing, hanging out, waiting to get in. And those are two good players in Dan Miller and Lane Smith as
Standing
the Blue
on the
Jays.
sidelines.
Yes, as the Blue Jays go to work, they'll work it on that right side. Good defense by the Stallions as they close and compact that defense in. Blue Jays send it over, and nothing doing as Reddy wasn't able to haul in that pass. Possession to the Stallions.
And you'll easily be able to pick out their number 1, Nick Ribka, there with the red field helmet there for the Blue Jays. He'll be quarterbacking a lot of the offensive sets when he's out there. Just another well-versed player. Played some, honed his field lacrosse down in Brock from originally from the Caledon area, but a nice player there in his own right. So looking forward to seeing what he can do today.
Got a lot of talent here in this province of Ontario. B final, backhand pass on the money, and here come the Stallions. Miller dumps it down low, and a whole lot going on, and I'm going to say that's Cal Anderson, but maybe you could help me out just to make sure the double ones.
I got that down as Davis Jacobs. I got it from the previous game sheet today, and yeah, they switched a lot of numbers and had a couple call-ups here. As with Six Nations, they got deep rosters, but not everybody can make it every week. So, like I say here, take my jersey this week.
Ever changing. Yes. Miller ducks in, good save, and a good job to hold that down and make a good save. And here come the Blue Jays.
A couple nice veteran goalies here with Jacob Sprague and Josh Johnson here. You'll see some nice goaltending play out of each of them this game, I'm sure.
Sprague comes in with an impressive 2-0 record. His goals against 4.50. So that's pretty much like giving up nothing, Mark. And
I'm sure he's loving his long poles in front of him for helping him out with some of that.
Everyone can use a good long pole once in a while, my friend. Leave that exactly where it is. Ruddy will kick it back out, get it back. Look for an opening, size advantage. Ruddy working from that left shooter. He's going to spin in, twister, and it doesn't get through. Good defense by the Stallions as Mitch Green. Good job marking. Danton Miller will move it up. They'll get it to midfield.
Yeah, Six Nations long pole.
Dangerous pass. That's intercepted. Sorry to interject, Mark. On the run. Dan Vertoli. And a big save there. So a nice job by Josh Johnson holding court between the pipes for the Stallions. And you can see when you got teams very evenly matched, Mark, you can really see how magnified each possession is for these teams.
Oh, absolutely. Here they're trying to feel each other out a little bit here, and the early going and not rushing too much, but definitely taking advantage of any opportunities they are given. But
Bertoli dumps it down and a good finish. So the Blue Jays will regain the lead.
Nice little textbook give and go there. It just dumps it off. He drives the defender, pulls the defender up to him as he's going to the net, drops it down to the crease attackman, and drop.
The B Provincial Final. Winner of this, I guess, will lay claim to the bronze medal.
Well, I think they give a gold trophy and a gold. Just call it the B final, as far as I know. And
Lane Smith now. He'll kick it back out. Dan Miller will slow it down.
Darren Elliott, number 96, on that goal for the Blue Jays.
Okay. And a good job to stand tall. The Blue Jays, they will get possession here in the defensive end and look to move it up. So clearly part of the feeling out process. But tell me something, Mark, when you talk about each of these two teams having been on the field already today, do you think by this stage is fatigue a factor, or do you think these guys are highly motivated and good to go?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see as the game goes on. Obviously, as you see with Six Nations, just two guys on the bench here is probably going to wear them down a little bit more, but these guys have played lacrosse all their life, so I'm sure they know how to use their energy effectively. And as long as they can keep this game within striking distance, if they do find themselves behind, they're going to have enough in the tank there towards the end of the game. But as long as they're not tightening up, it is a little cool, and I think that's the key more so than fatigue, is just making sure they're not pulling any hammies or twisting any ankles, that type of thing. But
well, we just want to remind our viewers that it sure looks nice and sunny out here, and yes, these are as best the conditions we can expect, but boy oh boy, it's a tad bit chilly out there, and that of course affect the hands. And trying a bit of a shake and bake there was Mitch Green, but he had too much shake on it, and here come the Blue Jays. And almost a tic-tac-toe. Ruddy wasn't able to get enough elevation to collect that pass. Got it back, bounces off one, flips it back out, net open. And we'll have a violation.
Josh Johnson gets himself a slashing penalty. Went out there to try and double the ball there when Nolan Ruddy came up with it in the corner, and I didn't see what happened after that, but referee Mark Sands there with the call. And the Blue Jays are going to get a chance here on the man-up, extra man offense. See if they can stretch their lead to 2 goals.
Well, if the Sandman's side, he'll call it. And a chance here for the Blue Jays to extend their lead. And this, of course, another one of those scenarios where taking advantage of the opportunities that you get, maybe something that pays dividends, maybe not right now, but certainly third or fourth quarter.
Oh, an unforced turnover here is not going to help the Blue Jays' cause, but the Stallions will take it.
And a good pass. Move up right to the sun, though, as you could see Danton Miller had no chance. And if you've ever played a game where the sun is a factor, if it goes there, you are completely blinded.
Yeah, it's a good job there. I think that was Jordan Durston there on the far side backing up the passes. And one thing in field lacrosse, I'll tell you, is back up the passes, back up the shots, be there, support your players. So nice play by.
So an offside is going to give possession to the Stallions. And they'll go to work from the top. Working on that left side, and that's a beauty move and an even better finish.
It looked like Mitch Green there on the goal, driving to the net and ties this game up.
So Green getting the job done. And like you said, Mark, knotted at 2. See these two teams here very evenly matched, going back and forth, and despite the bench size, we will keep an eye on the Six Nations short bench, see if maybe there's a third or in the fourth. That may be a factor, but in the meantime, between time.
Yeah, and they did play short against Burlington, and Burlington had the early lead, but that didn't seem to make much of a difference once Six Nations got rolling. But I'll be interested to see if they can maintain that here.
Ready shot right at the buzzer, and that's going to do it for the first quarter. We're tied at 2 in the B final here in the provincials of the Ontario Men's Senior Lacrosse League. We'll be back. All set for the second quarter here of the B final of the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Provincial Championships. And just to clarify, gold medal on the line here. So these two teams working hard, tied at 2 after 1, and First possession offensively goes to the Blue Jays here in the second as they'll work it around the horn. I've had some people who aren't on the run, and a beauty shot and finish. So McNean Hewitt getting the job done on the run, and no easy task to get a good accurate shot when you're airborne.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the things guys work on for years to perfect, and I'd say that was darn near a perfect shot, but hard to do when you're moving. You know, if you're on the run and then still get that ball on net, and a well-placed shot. Beautiful goal.
Some of the skill on display, and you can see that. So the Blue Jays jump out to a 1-goal lead here in this second. And off the draw, they will regain possession. Good defense, though, by the Stallions. Blue Jays, though, will get it back. They'll set things up. Caden Jackson at the top, and they'll move it around. And as I was saying, Mark, that some people have asked me who aren't familiar with the game of lacrosse, well, how come usually, whether it be a power play or offensive possession, why do they pass it all the way around as if it's sort of a waste of time? And what I responded. You tell me what your response would be to that.
Well, I think it's twofold. I mean, certainly it's going to be the advantage. Everybody's getting a touch, make sure their stick is, is tuned up, is the passes are going where they want. The other is strategically is try and get the matchup that they want, right? If they want somebody with the ball to go ISO, they may not want them to go ISO on a long pole. They'll want to switch them off eventually and try and get a change with on the defensive side so that they're on a short stick. So, it depends what they're looking for to do, but I think, really it starts off with, hey, just get everybody with the ball, make sure their sticks are working, and it is a possession game, right? So set that tone that's what you want to do. You got the ball. You can do with it as you please until you want to run your offensive set.
I like that. So you heard it from the expert. And there's a beauty bounce shot right there. So Darren Elliott pockets his second goal of the game. More importantly, that doubles the lead to 4-2 for the Blue Jays. And I know what I told them was really it's all about a feel. Once you're out there, once you get a touch, you feel like you're part of the offense. And also, it makes the defense work. Got to rotate. So where are the holes there? Kind of thing. So bit different wording, but same idea.
Objective. That's right. That's and so it tells you about the caliber in this league too. Both of these teams are not too far removed for playing for the A Division Championship. The Blue Jays back in 2019 have won it. And the Stallions have been the perennial A champions post-COVID, if you will, as they get to within one here with a nice goal by, look like Davis Jacobs using his size there and his nice hands and putting that in behind Jacobs.
I tell you, big body, soft hands, as he just did a good spin there, and he had all that net to work with and made no mistake. And a big goal. And that cuts the deficit now to 4-3. And like we talked about, Mark, this is a game of momentum here. And when you give up one, always best if you can answer as quick as possible.
Yeah, and that they did. Like I say, within the striking distance here. And, even though it's only the second quarter, it's the time can go quick before you know it's the fourth quarter. And if you're down by 2 or 3 goals, and then the task is much more momentous. They really want to make sure this is a close game until the dying seconds of the game.
Trying to outrun that one and not able to get a handle was Jackson. And the Stallions now moving to midfield. Miller bounces off a check, and all kinds of flags come flying around.
It looks like Tristan Jackson and Cole Powless, it looks like, maybe exchanging some pleasantries. And
Well, that's one way. That's one way to call them that.
Each
Yeah.
getting a minute over at the bench to exchange
Some
numbers
more.
and.
Yeah, that's right. May not be a Christmas card dinner invitation, but I'm sure they'll get it off their chests for sure.
So slash and a cross check. So each serving 1 minute as Mark Sands makes that call, and with his partner Trevor Wilson, who also is picking up flags, had the same call. And in this game is Max Perrin in the B final. Here is one of our officials. So another good crew here in this game.
Sure is. Lane Smith been quiet. And we know he can explode any time. That pass, though, couldn't find the mark. Turnover will give it back to the Blue Jays. They'll leg it over midfield. Looking for an opening. Beauty pass inside backhand. What a save. So great execution offensively. Couple of over-the-shoulder passes and shot, but up to the task, getting the job done was Josh Johnson.
That's Corey right there, number 12 with the long pole with his second rush from the D side, doing a good job, kicking off that offensive set.
Well, that goes back to what we talked about earlier about the importance of, your long poles, both middies and your defensive long pole, how valuable they are if they have multi-facets, multi-talented as far as, what they bring to the table.
Yeah, it's really fun. Was younger coaching the young kids. I try and get, I learned this from another coach, from Greg Hummel, is get the stick in everybody's hand at some point in time throughout the season. And, the kids' eyes light up when they get the long pole in their hands, and you never know who's going to shine in that. And all of a sudden these guys are clearing the ball with the long poles and just having a great time with it. So, give these young kids that chance and you'll see them developing into skilled long pole players before you know it.
Well, you don't know. You blink an eye, you could end up a goalie parent. If you know what I'm saying, Mark. But that's right. They love what they love, and that's the way it is. And just glad that they love the sport. That's all that matters here. As Ruddy looking for an opening, kick it back on the right side.
Well, I tell you, that's the secret to time standing still is watching your kid between the pipes during a game. Your heart's beating a mile a minute, and then the time is standing still. But,
why? Just because your kid has a direct outcome of each and every game, that doesn't put any extra pressure
none at
on
all,
you,
Lance.
Dad.
No.
Not at all. Come on now.
No.
Just a regular player like everybody else. I tell you.
Last line of defense. There's no pressure there, is there?
None.
Well, they come out of this sport loving the game, as you said. You can stand here 20 years later and just stand proud and sharing the joy of watching your kids play.
Well, I tell you, Daddy, you should be. Your son is a prime example of a fine young man and a pleasure to watch, pleasure to talk to. And I think as a parent, that's really all you can ask for. And so you've done something right, or your wife's been outstanding, one of the two. And that one airmailed wide of the mark. So had some room to work with, but Roger Weiss wasn't able to get it close. Possession will stay right here, though, with the Stallions.
Yeah, it was my mistake there in the first quarter, thinking that was Jordan Durston. Jordan Durston with a pole there, bringing the ball up over half and showing his versatility, because he's quite the goal scorer in the offensive side of the field.
Weiss does a good job to battle, but the eventual winner is going to give possession to the Blue Jays.
Loved watching Roger Weiss in his prime. He had just one heck of a shot.
Roger Weiss played the first couple of years in the Arena Lacrosse League, and you are 100% correct on that shot. Now then you have a guy like Lane Smith still in the league, still has that shot. But boy, oh boy.
A little bit of talent coming out of
just
Six
a bit.
Nations.
Yeah,
just a bit, eh?
Just a bit. Certainly consistency there as the Blue Jays now going for a run. Mike Reynolds will control it. We are in the second quarter here of a 4-3 game. Blue Jays with possession. Good hands on the catch to retain possession. No look pass out front. Thinking better of it. Caden Jackson dumps it back inside. Stallions converge, close it up. Blue Jays pick it up. And they'll scamper out and reset. Ribka. Not a bad field general out there to have. Reynolds looking for some openings, swinging around behind the net. That no look right in that prime shooting spot, knocked down though. So a good job to get a body in front of that. Stallions weren't able to pick up that loose ball, so back to work go the Blue Jays. Ribka, good move, duck in, pass across. Couldn't connect. Stallions gather the loose ball, and they now will get a chance to work it up. And that pass goes awry and given right back to the Blue Jays.
Well, this is where the Blue Jays got to capitalize and try and wear down that defense. They've done a good job. Just didn't quite connect on that last chance. And Stallions, they had the ball, but, those unforced turnovers, they could come back to haunt you. So see what the Blue Jays can do with it this time.
Well, I think you're right about capitalizing here. And, boy, Stallions have been very giving early going, and they do capitalize, the Blue Jays. So Darren Elliott of the situation.
Well, that looked like Nolan Ruddy to me there. I think that was Nolan Ruddy 93, I think, on that.
Was it okay? I thought it was 96, but you're right. 93, the kid, about how he took one
both
away
of them having
from
a
him.
game, though.
You know what I mean? Both of them instrumental right now in this 5-3 lead for the Blue Jays. 5-3. I got my counter right?
That's what I've
Okay,
got.
we're only at 8.
That's
All right.
what I've got.
All right. So when we get into double digits, that starts. We start getting adding and carrying the 1 and all that.
Well, with me, with my stats and my
quick shot.
There's
Quick finish.
Elliott. There's Darren Elliott.
There's Elliott working the top shelf to perfection for his third of the game. And I'm not quite sure. They said they can hear us on the field, but someone was listening to you about taking advantage of opportunities, and sure enough, Blue Jays have done that.
Walking off and.
Well, it always seems to get a bit harder motivation-wise when you're trailing. And certainly fatigue-wise. Smith will make a sub. He'll jump on, and the Stallions need something here. Needed first to take care of the ball a little better. Now they need to stop the run by the Blue Jays and get another tally on the board.
Yeah, and the importance of the face-off, especially after you got scored on. So them getting the ball on that possession gives them a chance to see if they can pull within one more here, as they do. Lane Smith.
He doesn't need a whole lot of room to finish, just a little bit. And you can see there, he can thread the needle and find the back of that net in a hurry. His second of the game. But more importantly, puts an end to the Blue Jays' run, and it's a 6-4 game.
Traditionally stay on the right side of the field, but in field lacrosse, there's a lot of space, and it's not uncommon. I mean, the Americans play generally with a lot of, stick to the outside of the field here, as Lane Smith was, and they can certainly be just as effective. Where in the box game, you're trying to keep the stick to the inside of the floor, but in field, you got to be able to strike from anywhere, and Lane Smith can.
Blue Jays looking to counter as the Stallions have pulled to within 2. And again, time right now on the side here in this first half of the Blue Jays getting a step, but good job to jump it as Gabe Tomanzella had an opportunity.
Oh, Blue Jays turn it over here, and Gerson's going to pick up the ball for the Stallions and see if he can kickstart something.
And
just fired it down there, end of the quarter.
End of the quarter, end of the first half. Unless I'm mistaken.
That's what I got. 6-4 lead for the Blue Jays.
On to the third quarter, right off the bat. Stallions trying to go to work on offense as they'll kick it out, and Denton Miller will slow things down, set it up. Toronto Blue Jays with a 2-goal lead here, 6-4. Stallions trying to answer early here in the third. Miller, one-on-one to Twister, stopped. And a crease violation, possession to the Blue Jays. And when we talk about the first 2 quarters, Mark, I've been impressed with the composure and what the Blue Jays have put together so far here in this B final.
Yeah, playing really smart lacrosse, not making a lot of mistakes, capitalizing on a couple by the Six Nations Stallions, and they could be up a couple of goals here if not for some nice saves by Johnson and really some nice stick work by some of the long poles of the Six Nations Stallions. But overall, Blue Jays are playing probably the type of game that they want to.
Reddy does a good job to fish down that loose ball. They get it over the left side, but not able to make a clean catch was Hewitt. Either way, he gathers it, and they'll set the offense now. Hewitt will bounce it out. They'll send it around, try things on the right. Ribka, one-on-one, little shake and bake, dumps it in, and it'll stay right here, and no, it won't. Possession will go up, so a good job by the Stallions as they now have possession and will look to move it up. Marty Hill. And with the lineup ever changing, it seems, Mark, feel free to jump in and make sure we get the guys right. That's more importantly, and if you are part of the witness protection program, too bad for you, because we can't help you.
Yeah, I've got 44 as Travis Stats, an AP call-up probably from their junior field team in Six Nations. They're wearing number 44. We have to check some rosters here without a lot of time between games. So our apologies if we do get any of these
Mr.
wrong.
Stotts, and it's certainly not the first time I've had to apologize. So I'm just going to carry over the last apology over to this one, sweep that clean, and we'll just move forward from there. As the Blue Jays now will move it over midfield. Corey Wright, I think I'm safe to say that I'm right with that. We'll roll it. Him and Ribka now will create some space at midfield and work it into the offensive end. I think one of the benefits to having a bigger bench, as you can see here, that and a little more noticeable now in this third quarter, as the Blue Jays still seem to look strong, as a good effort there from Tomazella. But he wasn't able to find the mark. Good save there, and the Stallions now going to try to do something here, trailing by a couple goals.
Well, that's what they'll need out of Josh Johnson, right? I mean, he made him look very nonchalant, but make no mistake, that was a nice save. He was found in good position, matched stick to stick, and scooped up the ball. And now he's trying to get give his guys a bit of a breather here before he puts it into the offensive zone. This is what do you call a slow clear?
A slow
clear. Slow clear in the game of lacrosse.
I tell you, and you can see as well as they executed, and it was well done on the flip, and that shot stopped. So good counter the other way on a good save. But you can tell that it may not be the first time that the Stallions have played with a short bench. And if you're the Blue Jays, you're going to try to keep that defense out there as long as possible, doing as much as possible before you decide to attack. So they'll work it around the horn. Bertoli. He'll get the defender to push him way back out, and
they're very deliberate in their offense here, and
he'll advise pass on that turnover, and Stallions now. And this game, Mark, may come down to a few opportunities here or there, and who's able to capitalize and not able to get it to Lane Smith. That'll be a turnover and possession to the Blue Jays.
Pass just sailed a bit on Durston there with that long pole, but as you see, they're trying to be smart with their passes. That one got away from them, but Six Nations with 3 opportunities here that came away with nothing. That could cost them coming down the stretch.
We'll see if, and not expecting that pass, and not quite sure. It was a Mike Reynolds with a great save. And he'll get it back. This time a little more aware on it, and he'll bring it back out left side, and again, time on the side of the Blue Jays. Switch hands, has it popped out. Good defense. And boy, you see those long sticks. Boy, if you use that effectively. And there's a whole lot going on down there. Wasn't sure if anyone was going to lose a limb, or if one of those trees in the back were going to come falling down, because there was a whole lot of chopping going on.
Yeah, the Blue Jays got called on a loose ball hold and gave the ball over to the Stallions, and Riley Johnson almost put one in there, but they get the ball back on the out-of-bounds shot.
Johnson gone airborne to try and take that back. Good job, though, as taking it strong. What a save! My, oh my, you talk about coming up big.
Oh, Sprague did a great job just matching up and sticking with it, as Cole Paulus made a couple of fakes there, and Sprague with just a beautiful save.
Boy, I tell you, it's if you think playing goal in box is difficult, take some of that off, and a bigger target and really, really can expose you. But that having a solid netminder is big, and the best teams usually have a strong netminder. Like you said, Mark, quarterback, last line of defense. Quick shot, beauty bounce shot. So the Blue Jays take advantage as Elliott all over it for the 4th time in this game. And it's a 7-4 lead.
Yeah, Elliott just does not seem to make too many mistakes when he's got the ball in his stick and he's in a scoring position. You know, nice feed. I think that was at Hewitt, or my apologies on who passed it to him. It was a nice pass. But Elliott definitely knew exactly what he wanted to do once he got that ball in his stick and puts it behind for the 3-goal lead.
Looks like we're going to get a timeout. Stallions, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. All set to resume here. 3rd quarter action, 7-4 in favor of the Blue Jays, with a gold medal in the B final on the line here at the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Provincial Championships here at the Sports Fields at Iceland Arena. Just a stone's throw away And the timeout, it'll be the Blue Jays with possession.
Yeah, Riley Johnson doing a great job on the face-offs up until that one. He got jumped the whistle just by a fraction of a second, gave him the procedure call, and gave the ball back to the Blue Jays. And here we got Nick Ribka with the ball up top.
Well, big here. If the Blue Jays can capitalize, it will make the road back for the Stallions that much longer. And, of course, in this sport, I don't believe you can ever put anyone away in the third. So we'll see. Ribka, beauty pass inside, and just tried to feather that one down. And wide of the mark. Great job by Johnson to hustle and get possession to the Stallions. He'll zip that out, and Lane Smith.
Nobody backing up the shot there for the Blue Jays, and that's one of the instinct things that are you kind of teach it, but goalies going after that ball when the shot goes behind the net. As Johnson just, it seemed like he didn't miss a beat just doing that, and that's what gave him the possession, beat out the Blue Jays from beating them to the end line.
And as a netminder, that has to be something you got to get used to, something ingrained. That's not something your first thought as a box goalie. Your first thought on that wide shot isn't to go behind the net and get that ball, right? So, Smith.
No, and that's what they need. They need the possession. As you can see, there's any jump in the Stallion step is fading a little bit. They're relying on their skill, their lacrosse IQ, and their savvy. But as far as hustle goes, the Blue Jays got a little bit more in the tank here and a little bit more in the legs here, it looks like, as the game goes on.
You certainly saw that there on that possession. Good hustle by the Blue Jays to track it down. They now lug it over midfield, and they'll work in the offensive end. You can see Blue Jays being very deliberate now, and they're going to make sure that if you're a Stallion, you're on that field, you're going to be on that field for a while.
And they bring it in. It'll probably be a matter of time before they start calling the stall if they don't drive to the net. But Canadian players, unless those are real versed in the field lacrosse game, they're kind of used to, from the box game of going to the net. That's kind of their instinct. I think they got to fight it sometimes to pull it out and pass it around in the field game.
You're right. I think you're right. Instincts to attack. Good roll off and not able to find the back of the net. So a good attempt from Mitch Green, but he wasn't able to pocket anything now, and the Blue Jays will hold on to it. Doing a circle is right, and tiptoe in midfield. And again, you could see Blue Jays working some clock.
Yeah, definitely no rush. Got a 3-goal lead here, 7-4 in the third quarter, but get the changes that they want.
Now, this is one of the some would say that this is one of the things about the field game that people would like to see change, the shot clock. They feel that there's just possession sometimes just too long. What are your thoughts on that, Mark?
Yeah, in a game like this, you can definitely see it's being deliberate by the Blue Jays. I'm not sure about a shot clock in field. I mean, they can certainly deal with it. The Canadian players, I'm sure. I think the bigger issue here is just having the legs here for the Stallions if they can press a little bit more. But yeah, that is definitely one of the hard sells of the field game when it's a slow moving offensive set like that. Certainly doesn't help selling it to new fans.
Well, I tell you, Johnson with a great save at one end led to an opportunity by Lane Smith at the other. Not able to capitalize, but be aware with the deficit just 3, That save may be a difference maker as we're late in this third quarter. But again, the Stallions getting some good goaltending. In tight and not able to bury it. Johnson standing on his head and some. And I tell you, I don't know, all he needed was a cardboard box on that turf, and he could have did some breakdancing. He was all over the place with that.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, here it looks like if the Stallions can, nobody wants this ball, but if they can get it and capitalize on this and make it a 2-goal game, maybe that's our turning point here, or momentum swing anyway. But what an effort by Johnson on that save.
Johnson dancing, Stallions moving, trying to get it up into the offensive end. And again, the yellow flags are flying. Crowd not impressed.
And Corey right there kind of caught his stick down there and tangled up in Durston's. Lucky he didn't get a tripping call on that, but got the hold, so nonetheless gives the Stallions a chance here, but looks like a turnover.
Well, Marcus Dockstader had it, and that is going to put the wraps on the third quarter as we are through 3. And a good one here. It's the B gold medal final, 7-4. Blue Jays back after this. For the fourth quarter of this B gold medal final here at the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Provincial Championship. Six Nations Stallions and the Toronto Blue Jays doing battle head-to-head, 7-4 right now. Blue Jays lead, and they have possession and a man advantage. And Ripka's going to go for a bit of a run. And certainly not an easy guy to catch. So now you look at this scenario, Mark. You've got a quarter to play. You're holding a 3-goal lead. Is your strategy to come out of here firing, guns a-blazing, or do you work some clock and realize that obviously fatigue a factor for the Stallions?
Yeah, that's kind of a double-edged sword here. I mean, if you're kind of just moving around, you're really giving them a break as well too, physically at least anyway. So, but yeah.
Well,
just
no need for you to
give it to
answer
Darren
now.
Elliott and make it a 4-goal lead. You don't have to worry about it.
His 5th goal of the game as he leads all scorers, and more importantly, that adds to the tally. It's 8-4, and we spoke sort of in the break about what do you do? Do you kill some more time and make them work, or do you really go at the Stallions? And it seems that they decided you take advantage of your opportunities and you figure a few more goals, and the Blue Jays could probably sit around and ready to crack a cold one to celebrate.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anybody that's going to think a 3-goal lead is safe against any Six Nations team, especially when you've got Lane Smith, Danton Miller, Roger Weiss, and the rest out on the field. But, 4-goal lead gives them a little bit more cushion, and they're getting possession here again. So, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, even a minute before you really drive to the net or do something with it is not out of the question here. They hold the cards here, and they're smart. There's some good players here on the Blue Jays. They'll know what to do with the ball. They got some good ball handlers, so if they can keep the ball in their stick, then they'll do all right. But nice turnover here by the Stallions.
Stallions do a good job moving up. Roger Weiss can't track that one down, but Zach Holmes on his horse going to try to use his speed, and Stallions do a good job, knock him out of bounds, and they'll set things up on offense.
Maybe there's a little step to the Stallions here. He left here in the fourth quarter. That was a good effort there, causing the turnover and then pushing the guy out of bounds here.
And listen, Mark, by no stretch of the imagination did I want it to sound like I felt like this one was over 3 goals. I think if they can get another 3 on top of those 3, put them in a good spot. But as you can see here, you talk about the effort by the Blue Jays, while Stallions certainly not giving up. As a good stick check, gets it back, had it, lost it, had it. Stallions now on offense. with a chance. Moving it around, and they bury it.
It's like Marcus Dostater from Cole Powless. And as we just talked about, at the end of the third period, it looks like his Six Nations not much in the tank there, but they came out here in the fourth. Unfortunately, gave up that first goal because they didn't have possession to start because of the penalty and the possession at the end of the third. But since then, they've caused a couple turnovers and nice drive to the net there and got themselves back within 3. So if they get the momentum going here, this could be an exciting finish.
Well, field or box, it's still the fastest game on 2 feet. And Dan Miller has had an extended breather on the bench for the Stallions, and he, of course, one of those important pieces to the puzzle as the Blue Jays now, with possession, they've got to be breathing a bit of a sigh of relief with possession here in this fourth. And let's expect them to work a little bit of clock here.
Yeah, a little bit of clock and stay away from these turnovers is what they really want to do. And if they do turn it over, they want to do that down deep, not up high. So, they're going to be working it around here a little bit. Nation still has lots of time, but they could be served well from pressing a little bit and getting a turnover.
So not a bad shot to take despite it being wide. Possession stays right here with the Blue Jays. And they'll swing it around, work things from the left. And
loses the handle on that one.
Had that one pop up. No harm done, luckily. And careless with that pass. Here come the Stallions. Off the turnover. Weiss sends it over. That one's picked off, and Roger Weiss was looking for his teammate, instead gave it right back. And a gift to the Blue Jays as they now will slow it up. But again, like you said, Mark, got to take care of that ball.
Well, that's obviously a little more critical for the Stallions being down 3 goals here in the fourth quarter. Ill-advised turnover and pass by the Blue Jays. I'm sure Roger Weiss would want that one back as he just gave away a golden opportunity to make this a 2-goal game.
Well, good intentions, just not so good on the execution. And Stallions, though, come away. Now worse for wear. Weiss. Good stick check, and that's rolled in. A good job as it's collected. So defensively, the Blue Jays hold again. And that could be one of those opportunities if the Stallions are able to pocket one, Mark, right back in this game, and all of a sudden the pressure's on the other side.
Yeah, no shortage of some opportunities here, and I'd say out of the last 6 or so, only coming away with 1 goal is something they can look back on and say that could have been a difference maker in this game.
See if Lane Smith can generate a little something going here as the Stallions running low on time and don't help their own cause there. And that, again, that's a fatigue turnover, Mark, certainly from this vantage point.
Yeah, I'd say, right? You see it at all levels, right? I mean, when you see very talented, skillful lacrosse players making mistakes like that, that's out of the norm, right? And that's fatigue.
That's just human, and sometimes you get a little tired, take your eye off that ball, or you just do something a little different than you usually do. And this still, though, certainly far from over. If the Stallions can get one push here, capitalize on something. Blue Jays track it down Ribka. Turn that corner, bounces back out. Tomazella looking, that one's picked off. So
A couple more hankies flying here.
There's all kind of hankies flying. And
a couple slashes, looks like. They'll sit for a minute each. All right, so each side's got a slash here, Lance, looks like.
so it looks like they'll offset now.
Should stay.
Stallions had possession, and they.
Yeah, then it looks like they'll keep it. It looks like Max Perrin there on the far, Trevor Wilson on the far side is indicating that that's going to be a nation's ball. Josh Johnson has it.
Well, Josh Johnson's been outstanding in this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's the reason that the Stallions are still in it. And he has stood on his head.
And looks so smooth doing it.
So smooth. So if you're the Stallions now, you're looking for a hole. You're looking to attack.
Looks like they're going to get a holding, Drew, a holding penalty here.
Vice,
another one.
So a cup look like a hole in the slash maybe, and good job. Bounce off one, let it go, and it stopped. So Mitch Green with the shot that stopped. We'll see what the way things shake down here.
Well, I think they got that. Okay, it looks like he got a hold on the first call and then didn't like that call, and then we got an unsportsmanlike after that, expressing their displeasure to the officials.
Well, you know that nothing's good is going to come out of you expressing your displeasure. And a chance here, open the door for the Stallions if they can pocket one.
Yeah, so a minute and a half, looks like it's going to be a technical 30, or is this two separate fouls? Yeah, it looks like 6 on 4. So 6 on 4 for 30, and then still a man up for another 30 after that. So I think they'd like to score first here. If I was them, I'd call a timeout if they could get a quick one here. And then see if they can get the draw and get another one.
Swing around. Smith, everyone got a touch. Dump. Kick it back. Vice will pull it back out on the left. Smith lets it go, and it'll stay right here with the Stallions. So good ball movement on offense by Six Nations. Got a good shot off. Weren't able to find the back of the net. Still in it here.
So 30-second technical is up. It's 6 on 5 in the offensive zone.
Vice rings it off the pipe. And the Blue Jays collect that loose ball. And boy, you talk about a game of not even inches, centimeters there. If Stallions are able to net that one, it's a different story. And now the Blue Jays here can, and each time I say Blue Jays can work some clock, they decide that it's Christmas and not Halloween, and that they just want to give the ball away. So we'll see here if they're a little more deliberate in keeping it.
Yeah, I think we got to get out of trouble here. Get away from those sticks of the Stallions here, and ready to drove to the net. But once he saw the double coming, did a good job of dishing that off and keep it outside here until they're forced to bring it in.
Blue Jays trying to hang on for their B final gold medal, and that one slipped in but side of the net. Johnson flips it up. And here come the Stallions, moving up to midfield.
Oh, they could desperately need one here, couldn't they, Lance?
Good no look. Vice buries it. So the Stallions still got a pulse, still got a chance here.
After Roger Vice, fired that one off the far post on that, I'd say a signature shot of his, but probably desperately wanted that ball back in his stick to make up for that missed opportunity before that. Makes it a 2-goal game.
Well, you knew Roger Vice was going to have that little bit of extra incentive after that. So it gets interesting now as the Stallions will be battling the clock as well as the Blue Jays here if they want to make up this deficit.
Well, and you talk about those turnovers, those unforced, and and what a smart play by Josh Johnson there. Is a shot that he saved or went to the back of the net. He flips it up, knew where his player was going to be, transition back the other way. So they can still strike pretty fast, as we can see.
Well, I tell you, if there's one thing that is a signature of Six Nations teams is their ability to capitalize in transition. They are masters of that. And you can see Blue Jays now, and you may take the stall call, but you can bet got to keep it away from those quick active sticks, as you can see there. Good job, good work. And there you have it. So a good defensive hold gives it back to the Stallions, trailing by 2.
8-6 game. Wouldn't this be a dandy if this was 8-7 after this set?
Quick underhand is stopped. It's loose. Vice battling for it, knocks it away, but it's the Blue Jays that come away with it. So a big chance there, and tell you, these Blue Jays doing everything in their generous power to keep the door open for the Stallions.
Well, yeah, and they haven't been forced. They haven't been called any stalls from the officials to keep it in. So, to me, I mean, now it's only a 2-goal game. So
now if you are the Blue Jays, do you look to maybe attack, maybe pocket one more, or are you still playing for time?
Well, they've been kind of going for the
great
attack.
Job flipping it over and still loose. And great job to finally scoop that up by Vertoli.
Yeah, we just got the call from the timer. Timer's on, so we're inside 30 seconds. So they need to get it down deep, get it out of trouble, play a little keep away. I'm not sure the Stallions got much in them to press here.
Be a tough haul. And no need to score.
Yeah, so he had the open net, and they said pull it out, and there we go. Blue Jays, Darren Elliott show. The whole team played well, but Darren Elliott had himself a game.
He did, as the Toronto Blue Jays come away with a gold medal in the B final of the Ontario Senior Men's Field Lacrosse Provincial Championships, an 8-6 win over the Six Nations Stallions. And an entertaining ball game, to say the least. Mark, some of your final thoughts on?
Yeah, ball responsibility. It was probably a lot closer than it should have been by the Blue Jays. They kept giving the ball over. I'm sure they'll be watching this game when JVI gets it uploaded and going, yeah, we let them back into it. And there's the importance of possession in the field lacrosse game here. So, but hats off to them. Great game by the Blue Jays. Great effort by Six Nations Stallions. Never a dull moment, and always a pleasure watching those talented lacrosse players on the field or on the floor.
So the Hamilton Bengals are the Provincial A champs. The Toronto Blue Jays are the B gold medal champions, and of course, that's going to do it for us. We'll stick around, keep an eye on the medal ceremony. But on behalf of Mark Schakowsky, pleasure working with you, JVI Productions, Joel Furman, and the rest of the crew here that have put together this outstanding event. I'm Lance Wynn. We'll see you next time.